Greetings. Welcome to day 5 of Autoforge's development. We're working on continuing to just rip out this entity component system and replace it with a proper component-based system. So, we've added in the entity manager and entities components, got those players at least somewhat established, and we're just starting to feel out like how do systems work. And so we were doing that yesterday, and we got this entity sorry, actually I renamed it. It's now called the render layer system as well as a spine layer system. We're just trying to get like the rendering working for these things, and like how are they updating. I played around with like the interface some, kind of talked to Andrew and realized that we really should be passing on references rather than pointers for things, unless it can be a null pointer. And we made a little bit of actual visible progress, which you can now see. We have a little guy down here, and this is using spine animations, which is from a spine, which is a like modular bone 2D animations. So that's really cool. Got that working. I don't know if we will use it, but that's great. We did have it working for Project Dig, and so it was mostly just like kind of moving things over to this component-based system. If we go to our game, we can see here all we're doing to get that working is we just tell the entity manager to create the spine boy, and then set that spine component to have a walking animation. And so after we finished that, I decided that the next thing I wanted to do is really just focus on trying to get the entity manager, entity component, all of those like core classes fully implemented to where I think we won't have to really touch them anymore, or if we do have to touch them, it's going to be much further down the road. And so I really started looking at the entity manager first and seeing what can we do with that to get it to be like a 1.0 essentially. And I identified a few things that were missing, such as having some proper cleanup and destroying entities, having onCreate and onDestroy functions on the entity. Sorry, those are events on the entity. Invoking that so that way we can have gameplay systems that are interested in these entity creations and destructions, actually being notified when that does happen. And then the next thing we looked at is hot reloading, which essentially is watching when content changes. We're calling it prefabs here. So whenever prefab changes, like we're changing the size of an inventory and for like a wood container to be 5 to 10, we can change that script, and the game will, while the game is running, it will see that change in the file and reload it and apply that change to all of the instances of that content type, that prefab, and then also any subsequent instances that are created will have that change as well. So we're just trying to figure that out. We got the two easy possible paths done, which is whenever a component is added to the prefab or whenever it's removed. And so now we're having to deal with how is it being modified. That's what we'll be working on today. So hopefully we get that figured out. We'll see in the next recap video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day. See you tomorrow.